Welcome to the Quip Corner. Have you heard of the Hispanic History Month? Some people call it the Hispanic Heritage Month. Bottom line is there are two H's and one H needs to be Hispanic. Today I'll be spending time with an author who has written a book that celebrates the Hispanic heritage. See you in the Quip Corner. Welcome back to the Quip Corner, Miss Anna.
Good to be here. And I really appreciate your giving me these opportunities to talk about the various books that I've had the privilege of writing. As an educator who wrote with students, it's fun to be able to now, during my retirement, to publish the poems in various publications. And you're giving me a chance to talk about it. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. And the interesting thing about this particular conversation is it's part of the Hispanic History Month.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
Spanish heritage has taken on a different meaning for me. Having lived in Southern California and taught there for 18 years in the San Diego community, I got an opportunity to learn a little Spanglish, just enough Spanish to be confusing, but the men and women with whom I worked and the students and their parents appreciated that at least I was trying to speak in the language that was closest to their heart or home. But having moved back to Michigan and Western Michigan and found out that there is a large community of Mexican immigrants who live here, to the point that last year they had their 50th anniversary of Mexicano History Month. And it is one of those ladies who helped me prepare this book.
Oh, it looks familiar. That was the book we had the first time.
Exactly. Well, this lady heard about my book, and one of the artists whose work is in here, Minnie Valero, is from Argentina, and she recommended that I translate the writing instructions into Spanish so that she could share with her family from Argentina and her daughter who now lives in España, and that teachers who were teaching students to speak English could use this because the pictures speak in any language.
Yes.
And so students who were learning English could write about the poems in English, but those students who were learning Spanish could read the Spanish instructions and then write using the new language that they were learning. So that's where this book happened to come into play.
Nice.
So I'm glad to have this opportunity during Hispanic Heritage Month to share some of the artwork in the book and a poem that I have written in honor of one of the historians and archivists who happens to be a Puerto Rican African man. And I'll talk about that later as we get to it.
Oh, wow. Nice. It's nice to have a book that has, so to speak, dual purpose. You know, it's almost like, are you bilingual? You're like, I got a book that can help me.
That's right, right. And it's something about artwork that speaks in any language. In fact, that is the title, the subtitle of the book is Poetry That Paints, Pictures That Speak. And so as students are looking at the pictures, they may be thinking about them in their home or heart language, but they may be in an English class where they're learning to speak and write in English. And so they can look at the pictures, be inspired by the pictures, and then write in the language that they're learning. And one of the artists whose work is in the book, by the way, most of the artwork is from the school where I used to teach. The art teacher asked her students if they would like to be in a book by me. They don't know me, but they know I used to teach there. And so they consented to have their work. And so of the 39 artists in here, 12 of them are students.
Beautiful.
One of the teachers who worked with me invited some of the women that she was in an art group with to include their pictures. And one of them is Minnie Valero, the artist from Argentina, who shared for my book some of her paintings. And you can see the one with the little key on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how students could write about keys to life, things that unlocked experiences for them. And then the gate. The gate to what? The gate, who opened the gate for them? And so it's just such an exciting experience.
Yeah, they're great writing prompts for sure. Nice.
And let me take it one step further. Minnie Valero's parents immigrated from Spain to Argentina. Her daughter now lives in Germany. Oh. And the book is also available with the prompts in German. And so that's what she bought her daughter for her birthday. This book with the Spanish in it, but also a version with the German in it, because paintings speak any language.
That is so true. I'm sure some people who may have heard or watched the first interview and we're all like, oh, I'd like to get this book, will be like, it's in other languages. Can I get them in the same place, or where do I get copies of these books?
All 4 versions of the book are available on Amazon. Okay. There's a version in English. There's a version with Spanish. Only the instructions for writing are in the other languages. There's one for French, and there's one for German. And so I've been online with world teachers who have been looking for resources to use with students learning other languages. And they're finding that having a book like this on hand, and it's available in the print version and also in the electronic version. And so teachers who are teaching virtually will be able to select pictures from the book, project like we're doing now on Zoom, and invite the students to write about them.
Oh, that's beautiful, because out here in Canada, we have 2 languages, English and French. So it's nice to know that we're part of your audience.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
Last spring, one of my former English students who now teaches on the island, one of the Hawaiian islands, bought the book to use with her students. And she said they got so excited looking at the pictures, and even though they were in Spanish 1, there were enough words that she was teaching them that they were able to write about their experience looking at the pictures in this book in the language they were learning. But also the AP teachers are finding that they can invite their students to write short stories where they're using not only the vocabulary, but the grammatical syntax of their new language, just from looking at the pictures and practicing. And so while the book includes poems that I wrote while I was teaching English, I'm finding that teachers of other languages are finding using pictures as a way to inspire writing has been an engaging way to expand their teaching options in the classroom.
Well, thank you for doing that. Truly enriching the students and the teachers, of course, but the students directly.
It's been helpful. And one of the things that you invited me to do was to share one of the poems that I wrote as a result of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes, please.
And being someone of African descent, I was surprised when I found out that the Schomburg Museums in Harlem, New York, were not sponsored by a Jewish philanthropist, but a man of African descent from the island of Puerto Rico. And so last year for Hispanic History Month, I invited the people in a writing group to find someone of Hispanic heritage and write a poem about them. And so I chose Arturo Alfonso Schomburg, and this is the poem I wrote about him for Hispanic Heritage Month last year. They told him his folks had no history. He spent years proving them wrong. He collected books and art and letter, proving contributions to culture and song. He immigrated to the USA and joined the band, not as a musician, but as an archiving man. During the years of the Harlem Renaissance, this Afro-Puerto Rican man took a stand. Schomburg joined intellectuals there. They had done so much and had so much to say about their participation and progress in this nation. Inventors and educators, skilled in business and science, records collected and preserved for all who would question. Because of his knowledge and passion, he was successful working at this college. He used what he learned, misinformation he spurned. With a library he built, those rumors he killed. And now you can visit yourself. Check the art on the wall and the books on the shelf in honor of Arturo Alfonso Schomburg, Afro-Puerto Rican, who established museums and archives and libraries in Harlem, New York.
Thank you. When you talked about his having, the mixed heritage, African descent and Puerto Rican, I was quickly reminded of a celebration that I just found out about. August 31st was the celebration of the United Nations Day for celebrating Africans in diaspora, and their contributions. So this is an excellent example of, those contributions. And, the great thing about these history months, be it the Black History Month, the Hispanic, the different history months, is they span beyond that month. So it's, it's not as if to say, well, anything you don't do within this month, you can't do.
No. And this is one of the things that I do appreciate about many of the STEM classes, those that teachers, particularly who teach science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, many of them are beginning to put on their classroom walls photos of men and women of the heritage of the students in their class.
Ooh.
And so they're connecting the heritage of their students with the contributions to men and women around the world who have been active and underrepresented in their particular field of endeavor. And so for Hispanic Heritage Month, though we focus our attention on the contributions, you are so right. This should be done year-round, particularly for teachers.
Yes. Well, kudos to those who are already doing that, because if nothing else, it's inspiring the students to say, oh, she looks like me, he looks like me, so I can do it.
Right. That's it. And that was one of the things that was sort of fun about this particular book. There are artists, mainly students, from, I would say, each of the continents. I think I don't have anyone from Australia or Antarctica, but Asian, Africa, Sri Lanka, South America, Europe, all have their work in this particular book. And because the book is mainly pictures, it doesn't matter what language you speak, you can read and appreciate the artwork done by others.
Thank you. Thanks again for sharing your book with us, Ms. Anna, and the stories around it.
Yes, It's been a pleasure. And having the opportunity to look at the book again from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Pete Consulting, you're making me review. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks again. Ooh, as always, it was a pleasure having Miss Anna in the Quip Corners Book Corner. Amazing how one book translated into different languages is applicable to so many people in different situations. Like she said, pictures speak in any language. You'll see information on how to get copies of her book and books below this video. Take care. See you again. Bye now.